what's up everybody? Philip Cross on Left Espinoza. I know it's been a while, but I'd like to reintroduce my channel. Because I know I never post videos, but I want to revive this channel and hopefully make it something good. But I'd like to start off by reintroducing myself. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Philip Espinoza. Philip Cross on Left Espinoza. And I get that name because I do Friedrichs, but I do cross on left, whereas most people do cross on bottom. And yeah, my name is Philip Cross on Left Espinoza. I've been cubing for about 7 years. I specialize now these days in one hand, although I suck in competition, but I'm also pretty good at regular speed solve, and I'm kind of mediocre at big cubes. But yeah, my specialty is cross on left, and I like to reintroduce my channel with this video about a tutorial about how to do cross on left. But before I do that, I like to cover some basic ground rules and some key facts to understand about cross on left before we start. And so the thing about cross on left, in case you don't know, it's basically it's just like Friedrichs, C-fop, but instead of doing cross, instead of starting and doing F2L, starting your cross and doing F2L on the bottom, you do it on the left. So if you are white cross, your cross is on the left side. I know this is kind of mirrored, like, yeah, so cross on left. Pretty easy concept to understand. But one of the things that I wanted to cover, one of the ground rules I wanted to cover, is that cross on left is in no way superior or better than cross on bottom. I mean, it is, because all the cool people do it, but I mean, realistically, there is no edge or anything that you would gain by learning cross on left. By that I mean, like, you know, cross on left is not inherently faster, nor is it slower than cross on bottom. With that said, there are good reasons and bad reasons to learn cross on left. To give you some bad reasons, let's start with some bad reasons. Some bad reasons is like, oh, I'm sucking at cross on bottom, I want to learn cross on left, maybe that will make me faster. No, that's wrong. If you are struggling with cross on bottom, just stick to it and practice and you will get faster. Learning cross on left is probably just going to confuse you if you're trying to get faster. I mean, it will make things harder for you if your main goal is to get faster. But, you know, that should not turn you away from learning from it. I mean, learning about it, because if you learn cross on left, like, just to increase your overall awareness about cubing and just to, you know, kind of make you a more well-rounded cuber, then that's more than a good reason to learn cross on left. But if you're thinking it'll be your number one, it'll be your solution to getting faster times, then you're wrong. Another bad reason, actually that's not a bad reason at all. A good reason would be because all the cool cubers are doing it. You know, Philip Espinoza's doing it. He's pretty cool and he gets fast times. So that's a good reason to learn cross on left. So if you are just barely learning how to do F2L and you're kind of malleable right now in terms of you can go cross on left or cross on bottom, and I would say you need to watch this video and learn as much as you can about doing cross on left, because it's one of the cool things about it is that not too many people do it. A lot of California cubers used to do it back in 2003 to 2005 and 2006, but not so many people do it now. I mean, there's cubers in Russia that do it. Yeah, what's his name? Tomas Salnowski. He used to, yeah, he got sub 10 averages, and you know, I got a sub 10 average in competition officially, and it's just a really cool, different way of approaching the monotonous, you know, C-fop that everybody does cross on bottom. So yeah, those are the key facts and key things you need to understand about cross on left. With that, I will give you more of an explanation about how I learned F2L and how cross on left is incorporated into that, along with some example solves. So I hope you enjoy this video. Okay, so basically how I learned F2L was intuitively, and I learned it off of the Friedrichs, Jessica Friedrichs website, which she said you can either do cross on bottom or cross on left, but she highly recommends against learning cross on top. So I thought for me the most intuitive way for learning F2L was learning on the left side. That way I get a better view of the cube. If the cube is flipped upside down, it doesn't make sense to me how that would be more intuitive, or how that would be easier to learn. So I started off by messing around with the cube in a solid state. So what I did is I did a couple finger trick moves, and then I noticed how that affected these two pieces, the corner and the respective edge. I noticed that the move I just did, that if I do the inverse, that whenever I have this situation, the inverse of the move I just did will solve this situation. So whenever I see the corner like this and the edge on this side, then I could just do that move. And so I was like, huh, okay, what happens if I do that move and then the inverse of that? So what that does is it puts the white sticker right here instead of over here, but the edge piece is still right here. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do that backwards and then I'll solve this piece. And I was like, okay, let me do that a couple more times to see what happens. I'm like, okay, so the edge piece is in but the corner is not, and the edge piece, or the corner piece, is flipped upside down. So I know when I come across this F2L pair case that I just had to do that, it's solved. And basically this is how I did F2L for the longest time, and this is how I learned. I think it's the most intuitive way for me to learn. And so I basically started experimenting with different moves. Alright, so I was like, okay, come across this F2L pair, and then I do this, and it solves that. What happens if I do this? Ooh. Then I know that if I come across this, do the inverse of that. And I mean, at some point it helps to learn some different algorithms, but you can get by with just learning or you could just get by just fine by learning F2L intuitively. And I mean, the same goes for cross on bottom, but you know, cross on left is better. There are some advantages to cross on left that you may not see, or you may not be able to do as efficiently with cross on bottom. For example, this F2L pair, if I see this corner and this corner, I can easily put it in by doing for roof, F R U R prime U prime F prime. And if I do the opposite of that, for earth or whatever, I see this F2L pair like that, and so I memorize how it looks, and then if I come across this one, all I gotta do is that, bam! It's like magic. Can't really do that with cross on bottom. Maybe you can, but yeah, anyway, cross on left is better, you know it. So yeah, that's how I learned cross on left, and really when it comes down to it, it's just a matter of playing with the cube. You could find out new F2L algorithms for yourself too, if you know a bunch of finger tricks and you just do the opposite. As long as it's efficient, or as long as you can understand it, that's all that matters. So like for this one, or maybe even this pair, this and this, I might start using that. It's nifty. Bam. But yep. Okay, to begin the cross on left solve, like the name suggests, you're going to have to do cross on the left. So when you're forming your cross, you're going to have your cross color, in which case my cross color is white. So I'm going to have it on the left. Now you could do it, I guess, if you're starting off F2L, you could do it on top, but it's more efficient, and it's just better to either learn with the cross on left, or if you're learning cross on bottom, cross on bottom. So yeah, basically nothing new here. you just form the cross on left. You might be doing some more D turns and other different turns. To me, it's easier to see the cube or see the cross on left as opposed to on bottom. If I were to do on bottom, it's hard for me to conceptualize that red is on this side, orange is on this side, and green. I mean, it's just a lot easier for me to see it, like, okay, I know red is right here, green is supposed to be right here, orange is right here, blue. Anyway, so I'm just going to do the cross. Lift up the green right next to red, I know it goes right here. So I just lift it up. Orange is right there. Bam. And so now I'm starting F2L. The thing about F2L is when you're doing cross on left, your field of vision is limited to basically this point of view. So these are the pieces that you can see. And so when you're rotating, you're not really rotating. And that's the great thing about cross on left, is that you don't have to rotate unless you want to, but you basically could just do this when you're doing F2L and move on to your next F2L pairs. So that's one of the advantages of cross on left when you're doing it. So when I start F2L, I'm going to look around this area. I see this corner, and so I saw the red and blue corner right here. So basically what I'm doing is I'm either going to be inserting an F2L pair in this up left slot or in this front left slot. So what I'm usually going to be doing is insert here, insert the F2L pair here, meanwhile looking ahead to find where this F2L pair is around the cube. So I insert that one and I keep track of this edge. I'm looking for the corner. Sometimes it's too awkward and too inconvenient to do that, so I just move on to another one. And so this one seems pretty easy. And meanwhile, while I'm inserting that, I'm looking at this corner and the edge is right there, so I move on to that one. And I insert in the top left again, and this is the final edge pair. Easy insertion. And the unavoidable Z prime rotation. Of course, one of the drawbacks of cross on left is whether you like it or not, you have to do at least one rotation during the solve. Whereas in cross on bottom, it's possible for you to actually get away with a rotationless solve. You have to rotate after your F2L going into your last layer. And I think that is a drawback, just because, you know, it might take half a second longer for you to recognize. But I think doing it without rotations during F2L is an advantage that kind of cancels that out. So again, I just do last layer as I normally would, and then let's do another solve. Okay, again, cross on left, so I'm looking for the pieces, I'm scanning for them: blue, red, orange, green. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. And I'm probably gonna lift up the orange with a D move, move the green underneath the center so I can move the blue up right next to the orange, and then I'm gonna bring the red down, do a slide like that, bring the red up, and then bam. So okay, again, the working slots are these two slots. So I see this corner, and also this one. So I'm probably going to be inserting this and then trying to get this one over there by rotating the cube or doing an L move. You'll see what I'm talking about. So while I'm inserting this move, this pair is the easy pair to keep track of. See? And then insert that. I got the red and the blue one right here, and then I know I'm going to have the red and green one for last. And then I just do the last layer like I normally would. And that's it for cross on left solve.